Hello, welcome to another video tutorial with Kukura Capital. This is the second episode of our moving average mini series, and this is the fourth episode of our video tutorial series basically. So what's happening in our first episode, we went over the basic interpretation of a moving average, in which we indicated that if your moving average is below your chart, that means you're in an uptrend, and if it is above your chart, it means you're in a downtrend. In the first episode, we highlighted the particular areas that prove this theory, and you can literally go through the whole chart and find that this is true at all points of the chart. Now, in our second episode, what we're going to be doing is discussing the effects of the different time periods that you select for your moving average, and also we're going to be just playing around with different time frames. In our first example, we did it on the 1 hour time frame, and now we're going to be focusing on the 30 minutes and 5 minutes, and I think I should also include actually a large time frame such as the day chart, just so everyone gets an indication of how this works. And I did mention in the first episode of this series regarding moving average that you can use any time frame, it will work equally as great. Okay, I'm just going to remove the grid and use a candlestick. It works brilliantly on any time frame. So if you're using 5 minutes, 1 minute, or 1 month, this moving average still works fantastically. And we did also mention that it is the most used indicator, and it's because it is a very respectable and reliable indicator to use, and you can definitely incorporate it in your trading strategy. Now, in this chart, we have the US dollar and the South African rand pair on our 30-minute time frame. So what is going to happen, I'm going to put two different simple moving averages of different time periods, and you're going to see that sometimes the trend projection may be different. So for example, we're going to insert our moving average. You go to insert indicators. This is just one way. I'm going to show you the other way to add moving averages. You go here, you can, here in this case we put 10 simple, and then we're going to have it navy blue. We press OK, and from this you're getting it was genuinely a downtrend, and we're just seeing it's moving, it was going down, but it is genuinely starting to move up. But we do get these peaks, these strong bearish peaks within this move upwards. And then if we insert the other way to add moving averages, you can go to your navigating window, go to indicators, then trend, and then you just click on moving average. And then here we're going to add a larger moving average. We're just going to say 50, and we're going to use, it's also simple, and then we're going to use a different color. We're going to use yellow, and from this you see much clearer as you in your smaller navy blue 10 period simple moving average, you get a little bit of implication of like ranging trends, while if you have a larger one, you get a strong downtrend and a very clear smooth uptrend. So you do see that if you have a larger time period chosen, that you also do get quite good indications of what the trend, how it's moving. Now, before we go into how some people use two indicators to trade crossovers, I just need to emphasize the difference within our time periods and the different indications and implications that we're getting with the different time periods. So just to recap, with the smaller time periods on our 10 SMA, we get a bit of indication of ranging. We're not getting smooth, like we're getting down period, then it goes up, then a downtrend, then it goes up, and then you see we're getting a bit of a jagged form of a trend, and that can also be, you know, interpreted as kind of ranging. Ranging can be perceived as either this up and down, or either just a very straight line that's not really going up or down. And then when we have a larger moving average 50, we get a very smooth downtrend and a smooth uptrend. So that's really important to note when you are building your trading strategy, what you're looking for. If you're somebody who wants more of a summarized version, you would rather stick with the larger time periods. Now, in terms of crossovers, some people, what they do, they intentionally put two different time periods on their charts of either both simple moving averages, or a simple moving average and an exponential moving average, or two exponential moving averages. And the idea is when they cross, as you get here it's an indication of a change in the trend. So if you do evaluate the situation, let me just draw an arrow here where you get this. I don't know if it's clear. I drew an arrow here. I'm just gonna make it green. Hope that's visible. Actually, let me make it a contrasting color like orange, so it's easy to see. So you, at this point, you're getting a cross in your two moving averages, and that would be an indication in the change of your trend. And in this case, it would be saying that from this downtrend, we're starting to see a change in the trend and it's starting to move upwards. So you would place a buy. You would place a buy long position at this point, from this, interpreting that it's going to start to go up, which is the case that we start to see when these two cross. Now it's really important that they cross over. I know in this case when they're just kind of like running, it's just running next to, it's not really necessarily a cross. A crossover is literally this. You can see the yellow, you know, overlapping at that point, crossing over the blue, which is an indication of a change in the trend. So I just placed here some text that in this case it's showing you an indication from a change in the downtrend to go up. So you would put a long position, which is literally just a buy signal, which we've explained in our episode about how to place a trade. And buy means you're expecting the trend to continue to go up. And if you do, and if you were to enter that trade, you would obviously not enter without the confirmation of two other indicators. Now you can use either indicators for confirmation, or you can use candlestick analysis, which we've also done video tutorials about. So if you want to learn more about that, and also on our website we do have a lot of slides about candlestick analysis. So if you are interested in that, do go and visit our website kukuracapital.co.za, and there you can get a lot of information about how to interpret your candlesticks. So if you did enter a trade around here and you had gone long, just using our crosshair tool, just an estimate, I mean this trend is still going, but you do see another cross over here, so you would have exited the trade, as you can see, and you would have made about, I mean this is 15,567 points, which is 1,506.7 pips. And if you had just put even just 1 rand per pip, you'd have made over 1,500. If you had put 10 rand a pip, trading at the volume of 1, you would have made about 15,000 rand. So you know, there is definitely profitability in trading forex, but you do need to know what you are doing. Now once it's already happened, it's easy to see, okay, I would have done this, I wouldn't have done that. If you were more conservative, you still would have made money if you had exited here. As you can see, just on the cross, you get about 9,000 pips there, which is good. Well, yeah, you get about 900 pips, 9,000 points, which is just about 1,000 rand, which is good enough. And if you had traded at the volume of 1, that would have been 10,000. So sometimes, you know, when you are trading, you can leave a trade a bit early, but this one was pretty false, a breakout here. But if you kept it up until this very distinct crossover in your moving averages, then you would have made some good money. This is obviously now an indication that we can start to see a downtrend occurring. So this is our 30 minutes. So you would place a sale here and see, but you can see that this is probably not going to be a very strong trend, because we're starting to see them closing pretty soon here. And a way that you would confirm whether or not your trend is strong enough is by using your ADX, which is basically your average directional index, and we have done a video tutorial about that, so you can also watch that just to get confirmation. And that's just also, once again, what I mean by a lot of people, they watch video tutorials or they hear something and they go and trade the next day, and then they don't make any money and they wonder why. You cannot trade successfully forex if you are going to be using one indicator and having no confirmations. A moving average is just one confirmation. You need 2 other confirmations of what you're doing. So in this example, we use a time period of 50, and 10, and we compared the two, and we also discussed how you can trade crossovers. Now I'm going to open this other chart, which is 5 minutes, and this is our EUR/USD currency pair, which is one of the most, actually not one, it is the most traded currency pair in the world. Unfortunately right now it's not doing too great. You can see from the chart, I mean, a lot of ranging, a lot of small little candles. That's not a good sign. But this is our 5 minute chart as well. So your 5 minute chart normally does have a lot of periods of what do they call it in trading? Well, I'm just gonna call it ranging, but it's also called consolidation, when you just see your prices not moving up or down. They're kind of like in a box, and we will be covering that in our candlestick analysis series, which you can watch at kukuacapital.co.za, or if you are on YouTube watching this on YouTube, our channel, do subscribe so that you know when our newest and latest videos have been released. So basically in this example, I'm just going to use one of the more extreme simple moving average time periods, and that's 200. Now interestingly enough, this is quite a recommended moving average to incorporate in your trading strategy. But my argument is that because it's so big, it's really hard to pick up on small changes, and knowing that a moving average already is a lagging indicator, the last thing you want is to put emphasis on that lagging component in your trading. You don't want to miss a good enter point. Now this is our 200 simple moving average time period. So the analysis always remains the same. Whenever your moving average is above your chart, it's an indication of a downtrend, which you can clearly see, and whenever it is below, it's an indication of an uptrend. But as you can see, the larger your time period, the less accurate it gets. For example, in this instance, I mean, they're calling this an uptrend. If you were to enter at this point, you probably would have really lost out, because you probably would have only exited around this point. And if you can see, that's not much of a profit, yet alone a difference. I mean, you might have even lost some money if you entered here and exited here, because obviously it's much lower. That's why you would definitely use another indicator to confirm whether or not you're trading, whether or not to enter your trade or not. In this case, it's showing a downtrend, but I mean, if you had entered here, you would have made some good money. So if you use the larger time, I mean, yeah, it's about 21 pips. I mean, for the 5 minute time frame, that means in about 1 hour you would have made 200 rand if you're trading at 0.1 volume, and about, yeah, I mean, it's scalping at its best, but I mean, it's still money and profitability, but you would have missed out on this uptrend because you would have been under the impression that it's continuing to go down. So that's my only caution about trading with the large moving average time periods. But what you can do is also add a small one to see where they cross, and use that as an indication of when to enter or exit your trade, not trend. And then I'm just gonna put like a smaller one. I'm gonna put 50, and I'm gonna make it the color blue. And if you see where they cross, yeah, I think it does kind of compensate for this lagging of the 200 if you were to trade crossovers. I mean, if you had entered here and you placed a sale, well, you see here you have, it goes up, and then it crosses again, so it goes to a sell. And if you had also entered here, definitely you would have made good money if you had entered from that point. If you had entered from here, where you get this cross over between the two, and you exited at the next crossover, it's about 76 pips. Obviously it's a small time frame, so you're not getting thousands of pips. People normally scalp. So what scalping means, obviously in 5 minutes, between this time and this time, that's 2 hours of you, not even 2 hours, about an hour of you making some money in trading, opposed to when you go on bigger time frames, you're trading for days, you're opening those positions for 6 to 7 days to make your money, make big money. So if you don't have that kind of patience, or you have a lot of anxiety problems, perhaps scalping is a good thing. Obviously with scalping, you're making more trades and you're making money in shorter time periods, but to get the volume of money you're going to be doing more and more trades. And scalping is good if you're somebody who wants to go to bed with all your trades already closed, so you can consider that. But in our third episode, we're just going to be wrapping up how to use your moving average. We're going to be going through the interpretation. Also, we're going to be going through a third way to use your moving average. So do stay tuned. If you always want to know what our next video tutorial is going to be about, do subscribe to our newsletter at kukuacapital.co.za. Thank you for watching.